The black uniformed varsity cadet, warte. Cadet, okay. Fired on the English civilian. And from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Okay, das ist falsch. Das ist faktisch falsch. Loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. Present.
Yes!
Die Augen. What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of the subordination? Thrusting this wad of paper in my moustache. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes! There's a clear inconsistency here. What nonsense. What can this document possibly tell us that we don't already know? Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there's no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom. Arg! This is so frustrating. Oh, please. Okay, jetzt kommt er. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Damn. Nice Musik. Kazuma, what? What are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at the post-mortem report presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant Ayisa Nosa. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes.
Yes!
But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... As is clearly stated in the post-mortem report, fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma, no exit wound, bullet did not pass through the body. The photographic print of the victim clearly shows the same thing. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Ah! Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? Oh, das Baby, hallo, moin? What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious La Carnival steak, sir. Süß. What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Ayisa Nosa, did not just see the defendant firing a gun at all. That's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There's no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. Damn, savage. Yeah! Damn. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. This is what being an ace attorney is all about, nice. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes!
But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either. Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Treasure? Indeed, the Holy Era Coben, my prized coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Wazutai. Trinket is Flasche, ne? Trinket, Schmuck. Okay, es ist einfach Schmuck. In the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you. On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I proffered my holy treasure. Proffered? Ich denke mal einfach anbieten, ne? Believe that you would purchase such a rare find. I did not, but I was presented with little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. The Coben. Vanished? Okay. Hunting around under the table, I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there. And then it happened. Okay, also war unterm Tisch dann gerade. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absondatory treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest. Did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Zoe Coben was lost to me. No doubt, some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. Not looking at anyone, but... As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Ouchie? Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but you will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there's only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well, the court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. Excuse me, but there's something... or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name? Aido. Hallo Aido. Süß. It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Aido. Teen-chan. Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. Vaterfreuden. Witness testimony. The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in the back, in black, in the back. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Ja? Keine Ahnung. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. Das Baby. Süß.
Yes!
Was hat er gesagt? These testimonies are certainly compelling. Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. This is a photographic print of the scene of the crime council. Indeed. Of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. Okay, da ist das Steak. Sehen wir da irgendwas Interessantes drauf? Wein oder Traubensaft? Und sonst irgendwas Interessantes? Gabel und Messer und Blumen. As can plainly be seen, there's only one place set. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in company of anyone else. Ark, this doesn't make any sense. The court will let this new photographic evidence to the record. The photographic print of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. A bottle of carbonated water and a steak lunch can be seen on the victim's table. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Taketsushi Auchi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. Oh no. Bei Phoenix haben wir diese Pose erst gesehen im zweiten Spiel im letzten Fall und hier schon gleich im ersten Fall. Das ist nicht gut. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick. Understood? Tsk. Rulers can be so unbending at times. Du bist selber unbending. Cross-examination. The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing.
Yes!
No, it's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? Du hast eine ziemlich reflektierende Brille an. Deswegen eher nicht, nee. How could I? And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink. So there you have it. Have what? Teen-chan! The sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? Grr. And let us not forget that the antiques dealer witnessed the accused in his most incriminating position as well. Isn't it so, Kurikuta-san? Okay. Wieso zittert er so? Yes, pointing this gun at the foreign man, he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Mir fällt gerade auf, den Kellner haben wir nur einmal kurz gesehen. Einmal sehr, sehr kurz, der wird bestimmt noch auftauchen. Also der Kellner vom Anfang, der Corona hatte, der so gehustet hat. Pointing this gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see.
Yes!
Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time. But I've told you already, that's only because I picked up off the floor. I picked it up off the floor. Well, obviously, as a culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away. I had just finished drinking my coffee and I was about to leave the restaurant when I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And at exactly that moment, a gunshot rang in my ears. Full of events beyond our control, life is. Zoe, what do you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas conversely, I failed to pick up the Coban from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Predicament ist sowas wie Voraussetzung, Situation. Anyway, the fact remains, myself, I did see you. With pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present.
Yes!
You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
Attention!
As you have been at pains to point out time and again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. Callus? Warte. Callus. Schwiele Hornhaut? Okay. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. Arg! If only there'd been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 PM when it happened. It's a quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know, of course the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. 14 Uhr? Ich esse häufiger mal was um 14 Uhr. Also, naja, aber nicht in einem Restaurant. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day and why he was alone. Und hinzu kommt noch, dass es 100 Jahre früher, wenn nicht sogar noch mehr. Also es ist in der Vergangenheit. Keine Ahnung, wie die Leute da gegessen haben. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at the time of day and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency. There was indeed a reason. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. Okay. What is that, Counsel? It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at the clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Also war im Krankenhaus oder in der Klinik? Hotter Clinic. Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case. But was? So would be need an entry for the date in question, noon to past 1 p.m. Okay. Achso, also er hatte das Appointment da bis 1 oder bis nach 1 und ist dann essen gegangen, okay. I wonder, what do you think, Rionosuke? Well, it is hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Should I ask for Dr. Wilson's medical report card to be submitted as evidence or not? Natürlich.
Yes!
Dieses schüchterne Arm heben. If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense's request. Tsk. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. The victim's medical report card has been entered to the court record. A medical report card from Hotter Clinic that was found in the victim's pocket. Ich frage mich, ob Hotter Clinic die Hottie Clinic sein soll, wo Phoenix, wo viele drin waren. Wo Phoenix drin war, wo Franziska drin war, als sie angeschossen wurde. Wo dieser Doktor war. Wisst ihr, der... ich bin creepy, ja. Der Typ. What we need right now is new clues. Okay, dann gucken wir uns mal die Karte an. A medical report card from Hotter Clinic that was found in the victim's pocket. Oh, nee, das wollte ich nicht. Kann ich das... Okay, ich kann es nicht weiter angucken. Schade. It's new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you. Können wir das wirklich nicht? Nee, wir können es wirklich nicht. Lol. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's a day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubts. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korekuta-san. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
Yes!
So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone. That I did. Forgive me for the position I place you in. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? And let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support the statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there's only a single beefsteak on the victim's table, a meal for one. No. The antique stealer, the sergeant and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they are all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Ja, ich im Moment auch nicht. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
Yes!
Why aren't you telling the truth? What did you say, cadet? I clearly remember. Ja, da war eine Dame, okay. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you have failed to see the professor's dining companion? It's just not possible. Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Zoe? The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said that the victim was alone. That's right. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But if such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is a blatant waste of the court's time. There's nothing I can say to that. Excellent work, Rionosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Ich sehe aber auch nicht, wie diese Medical Card uns jetzt weiterhilft. Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. How exactly? Oh wow, wir konnten es vorher nicht examinen? Toll. You need notice that some pieces of evidence bear magnifying glass. They are the ones you may examine. Press A and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Use... Okay. R. Kann ich's rumdrehen. Alles klar. To rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. By using LLL kann ich den Cursor bewegen. Okay. Alles klar. You can move the crosshairs around the hunt for clues that may have been missed before. If the crosshairs start to pulsate, press A to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I see what I can do. I need to use... ja, ich habe verstanden. Looks suspicious. So. Medical report card required for every visit. Name Mr. John Wilson, Hotter Clinic. Ist das hier? Kann ich es aufmachen? Dentist, Hotter Clinic. Dentist? Dentist? Also Zahnarzt? Date is left out. Und Record Number 372857. Oh God. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Warte mal. Ich tue mich mal ein ganz klein bisschen runter, damit man sein Gesicht sehen kann. So. Ich hoffe, das ist in Ordnung so. So, das ist in Ordnung. Ich hoffe, ich verdecke jetzt gleich keinen Text. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. And there's an entry for the day of the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Was ist Molar? Molar. Backenzahn. Okay, wurde ein Backenzahn entfernt. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Oh Gott. Wurden euch schon mal Zähne gezogen? Mir tatsächlich noch nie. Und ich bin sehr froh drüber. Ich hoffe, das passiert auch nie. Aber mal gucken. Vielleicht irgendwann. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Also, it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. There's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours. Post-procedure until anesthetic effects have passed. Er hat aber ein Steak gegessen, das kann ja nicht sein. Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. Oh! Dann war das Steak gar nicht sein, sondern von einer anderen Person. The medical report cards information has been updated in the court record, a record of dental work. On the day of the murder, the victim had undergone dental treatment and been prohibited from eating or drinking anything but water. With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. So, I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely. Okay, dann haben wir ja jetzt unseren Dings. Guck mal, und wir verdecken auch nichts, oder? Warte mal. Nein, wir verdecken tatsächlich nichts hier. Gut, dann bleiben wir für den Rest des Let's Plays einfach hier unten. Ist in Ordnung. Even what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the fallen man he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that the only person present. Standing all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. Well done, Rionosuke. We have even more to go on now. Still don't feel like the situation has really changed. Is this a statement? I've come to light. I think the situation has changed a great deal. How so? It's simple, a case of using it to our advantage now. Okay. There is a discrepancy somewhere, yeah. The crucial point is, the victim had been prohibited from consuming anything but water when he was shot. Also ist es das Statement, wo er gesagt hat, moin, wo er meinte, dass er da total bei sich selber, mit sich selber nur gegessen hat, also allein. He's right, thinking about Dr. Wilson's circumstances at the time of the incident puts that particular statement in a totally different light. Always keep your eye on the progress of the battle. That's the only sure way to win. Win, win, win.